Joker here, and I've got a treat for you. The latest podcast from the PSVG Podcast Network. Ooh, that's a mouthful.
Just the awkward intro is something we do really well here.
Sweet.
This way, Kev can decide when he inserts what and how he does it. Mm-hmm. So I made the cough noise, and we start.
Do you want me to record anything?
Nope, we do it.
No, you're good.
We got you. You can just chill out. Now I have to re-cough, and I have to fake the cough because I don't have to cough anymore because I have allergies here. I need to think of something better than cough. All right, I'm just gonna go.
Shut up and sit down.
Hello, family. We missed you. And for the new people listening who are friends who will become family shortly, because that's how we roll. We are so glad you're listening. This is PSVG OT. We have no idea what number because Dev and I have not checked. It's like in the 20s or 30s. Who knows? But this is PSVG OT. And we are joined today by the man, the myth, the legend, the king of Canada, Mr. Sean Capri. Sean, how are you, sir?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me on. I was just about to check what episode number you guys are on, but then I thought it would be rude and it'd be on my. It looks like I'm just on my phone and just disinterested.
Part of being PSVOT is being unprepared, and we really feel like we do that better than anybody else.
Man, I barely got here in time, so I think I'm fitting right in.
That is literally how this works.
What's on time, and who cares about a number?
Yeah.
Just show up and come as you are.
Oh. Check, man. I'm ready to go. This is awesome.
And Chaffee is in chat, and he said, "What the heck? A hatless Mo? What's that about?"
Chaff, I just got back from the beach, and true story, my Cubs hat is somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico.
Oh no!
I lost it trying to be safe. And so that happened. So for the new friends who are listening today, who will soon be family, again, I'm Coach Mo. With me is my co-host, my buddy, my dude, Dev Ties. And we have the Sean who we introduced. Now, Sean, we here at the OT, we're based on two things: relationships and has sharing stories. And number two, we're based on being unprepared, which we already talked about. So is anyone here prepared for tonight?
No, not even a little bit. My pants are barely done up, man. They're wide open. If I get up, they're just gonna fall down.
We actually don't believe in leg prisons here. So if you need to take those off at any point in time, you go right ahead. We
I just need my gut to kind of spill out a little bit.
Let
it go. Be free, man.
That's it. Oh, I'm way ahead of you. it's happening. You guys just get this damn this up, I guess.
Oh man,
this shirt doesn't even cover my belly. It's like one of those tummy shirts.
Put a tube top on for the show.
I feel
that actually
airing up my belly button.
That reminds me of one of my favorite TV shows. Has anybody here ever watched How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
The episode where he has to wear this itty bitty shirt, but it's because he has this dress shirt and this tie and this jacket, and it's no one's gonna see it, but then he has to take the jacket off to help. It made me laugh. Sorry, I don't know why I'm talking about that. It's not important right now. All right, now our memory for tonight is one that I was a little excited to talk about and a little nervous all at the same time. Okay. I actually want you to share your first memory of when you were about to become a podcaster, when you were going to make this dive. So let me take you guys, and I'll go first, set it up a little bit. So my first memory of this was PSVG. I think it's 6. It's PSVG 6 or 7. It's in the very, very old archives of PSVG, the ones Donnie doesn't want you to listen to, and there's a reason. I think in that episode they play a song called "Caramelize Me, Baby" at the end, because that's not to get into why that happened, but it happened. And I remember that night being terrified. The whole week I knew I was going to be on PSVG. We're talking legit fear. Okay, because I'd only ever done a podcast. I think I'd done one before that, and it was on movies, and it was so late I had no time to prep for it. It was on That's Entertaining with our buddy Nate. But this is my first, like, I'm about to do this. Like, I'm a part of this team. And so that entire week, I was terrified. I was ready to back out. I was ready to let Kevin, hey, guys, I'm more of a writer, which we proved I'm not because I never do it.
You do it plenty.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And so this whole week I went through all these emotions of, no, I can't do this. I don't have the ability. I don't have the voice. I don't have all these things you need to be a podcaster. When I think of podcaster, I think of Ryan McCaffrey. I think of that dude who he goes in there, he nails it. He's very confident. He's articulate. He uses words that I have to look up every once in a while. Like, that's just, he's a classy dude. And I'm not that. I'm not on that level. And so I was ready to back out. And I remember one of our students who we actually do have a question from, Miss Shy. She's like, Coach, are you okay? Like, you're a little quiet. And people know that when I'm quiet, it's because I'm in my head too much. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what, bud? Yeah, I'm a little nervous. I'm doing something that I just don't think I'm able to do. And she's like, whoa, Coach, you not able to do something? And I was like, you got us to state in your first year, you've done this and this. And she listed these things off I did as a coach and a teacher. She's like, if you can do that for us, what do I need to do for you? And I was like, you know what? You're doing it, kid. You're reminding me of why I teach, why I believe in these things. And so that turned into me going and doing it and having a blast. And it turned into my kids listening and them going, Coach, you did so good. We're so proud of you. Like, we love this. It led to them rating us on iTunes. It led to parents rating us on iTunes. And it led to this really good thing that I had at my school where I could talk to my teachers and principals and share these memories. And so that's my first recollection, my first memory of podcasting. So Dev, let's talk about yours.
All right. So mine was just a lot of excitement. I don't remember what number it was because, again, what's the number? But it was PSVG. It was way after, they had already been pretty established and had been doing things pretty normal for a while. But I was just really excited because I've wanted to do it for a while. I tried, getting one off the ground with a couple of friends, but we just had a whole lot of just different ideas that weren't meshing, and we could never really set it up or get a time together. So when Donnie put out the tweet asking if anybody wanted to join PSVG because they're just looking for a couple more people just for a little help to help with the website and writing like articles and also podcasting. Like, I was just stoked. So I was super, super excited to take the jump and dive in. I dove in feet first. I wanted to make sure I had a decent webcam and all of that stuff because I figured you would do it over, video, so you'd be able to see when people are talking. But no, that wasn't the case. It would just be like, you go, and then you go. So it was just a really, really, really exciting time. I had no place to do it, so I had to do it in my garage. Like, if you look back at some of the podcasts, like, you'll see me in a bunch of different places just because I had nowhere to do it. Because who has extra rooms, right?
My favorite was the closet one, man. I'll remember that the rest of my life. That was the best day ever. I still to this day don't know how you did that.
It was uncomfortable, but you gotta do it for the podcast, man.
Sean, he's Indian style, like legs crossed on the ground during the whole thing, and I'm like, how? My body.
Oh, I get it, man. I'll get to my first one, but it reminds me of a temporary setup. I had my an ironing board out with a laptop and a microphone and a lamp. Like, seriously, like, it was no desk. It was an ironing board. Absolutely. So I understand it, man. I get it. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, when you're excited and you want to do something and be a part of it, you just find a way to make it happen. So yeah, my first show, it was a lot of us on. I think it was like 5 people on the show. And it was just a lot of fun. I was super excited. I was in my garage, and afterwards, like, I was just like beaming. So it was nothing but exciting because it was just something that I wanted to do for a long time. So once I finally got the chance to do it, I just dove right in and was like, let's go, let's do this. So
heck yes.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Capri, tell us about yours.
Coach, I loved your story, especially. I like that Dev's as well, but I love because it's like polar opposite for me, where I've been listening to podcasts since when the podcast app was a thing. So like jumped outside like the music thing where you had to like go on your iPod and sync it with iTunes on your computer. As soon as it made the jump onto its own app, I was like, oh snap, podcast. I should probably get into this. And I was listening to Adam Carolla and Mark Maron, a whole bunch of other like comedy stuff. And then I discovered the whole like Beyond stuff and kind of got into video games, and slowly but surely that all took over. And I had like this false sense of security or confidence because I was like, well, I know video games. Like, I'm listening to this stuff all the time. So surely you just kind of like hop on the mic and it'll be fine. It'll be great. And I'm pretty certain that my first one was, it was on We the Nerdy. I had been writing a couple articles and I was like, I really would like to try out this podcast thing. So the early days of We the Gamercast was like a pretty traditional, like 4 people around the horn talking about the news and what you're playing and stuff like that. The first, I think, 10 episodes or so was like that. I think I was on episode 3 or 4, and it was right after Nintendo Direct. And it was in this moment, first of all, the setup, very similar. I was on my bed, cross-legged on the bed with like the laptop heating the tops of my laps and just getting like uncomfortably sweaty. It's like, I can't believe this laptop can like heat my whole body like this. It's just sitting on my legs here. And it was just like, it was a gong show, man. It was an awful podcast. It took forever. And it was in the middle of the show that I realized that like I didn't know anything like relative to the people I was talking with about Nintendo specifically. It was right after Nintendo Direct. And I'm almost certain they had just revealed like the Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, like what would end up being, what the heck is it called? Sharp FE. Tokyo Mirage Session, Sharp FE. They had just revealed that game. And I'm like, I don't know what Shin Megami Tensei is. Like, I must be a total idiot. I don't know anything about video games. And it was like, I went on a journey from that moment of not knowing or discovering what I didn't know. And then eventually just kind of being okay with that. And I feel like that's the part of like practicing and getting in front of the mic and just talking is like learning what you know, what you don't know, what you're comfortable with saying and comfortable with like not knowing, because I was very uncomfortable with saying like, I don't know what that is. Like, maybe I don't deserve to be on this show. So it was a lot of that. And I remember listening back to a lot of my early shows and going like, I remember not knowing what I was about to say. And then you just blurted out. And that was sort of like I don't know. It was like this reassuring thing that like, even though I could remember the terror I was feeling before. I was like, okay, Sean, what do you think? And I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say here, but here comes something. And then it worked out fine. And it was that early days that I remember just going, this is fun, man. Like as terrifying as it's like an adrenaline rush. Like
absolutely,
it's not jumping out of an airplane, but that's as close as to that I'm ever gonna get. So yeah, man, that was me. I mean, that's a long time ago, but crap, I love this question. What took me back, dude?
I'm glad that this is why the OT.
And that's the whole point, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's what all about. When the OT happened and me and Dev started this, literally, like I was like, this is the most comfortable I've ever been podcasting. Like when I'm on PSVG proper, I do stupid things and say things that I shouldn't say and give them sound clips because I'm not.
Message for you, sir.
Thanks, man.
Dude, that was amazing.
That was awesome.
That was so good, and he edited it too, and then they talked about it. Oh god, that was so good.
Yeah, that was. I remember that when my kids, oh man, I got a bunch of text messages like, Coach, this is great. Can we get this as one of my kids made it a ringtone?
Yeah, man.
They're sending it around. I'm like, you guys are great. I really appreciate it. Now we're gonna go into our Patreon producers because we got so much awesome feedback last week with Mr. LeBron James, who jumped in and was our Patreon producer. So this week's Patreon producers that we want to shout out is Michelle Branch and Vanilla Coke Zero. For when Gatorade just doesn't do it.
You guys, did you know how much I love Vanilla Coke?
I did not. It's
you know
actually
how much I love
favorite
Vanilla
drink.
Coke.
Did you say Vanilla Coke Zero?
Yeah,
I've never seen a Vanilla Coke Zero.
Here,
I
let me
have
get
to
this
find
up
that
here real
now.
quick. Vanilla Coke Zero.
That is everything I need in my life.
Guys, so you want to know story before we get to our questions. The reason I drink Vanilla Coke is because the love of my life drinks Vanilla Coke after every practice.
Yeah.
Her name is Jackie Stiles. She was a Rookie of the Year for the Portland Fire back in 2002, I believe. And Jackie Stiles drank Vanilla Coke after practice, and she would chew Big Red gum. So the young coach, he started doing the same thing because she's my hero. And then I just realized Vanilla Coke was delicious. It's a very tasty Coke. So yeah,
it
but
just
I like
reminds me of summer, man. So, and I need that
absolutely.
at any point.
Yeah, I like the Vanilla Coke because no sugar. So it helps me out. So yeah, thank you, Vanilla Coke Zero, for being a patron. Really appreciate your donations. So
yeah, I'm gonna have to go find a case of that because Coke Zero. I remember we got when I was working at Best Buy, we got just like case loads of it delivered for some video game launch. I think it was a Call of Duty, and they had some kind of weird cross promotion with like Coke Zero. So we had just cases of it, and it was free. So we were just drinking that stuff, and it got me like completely hooked. And Vanilla Coke has always been just a thing for me. So now I have to go find the combination. Oh, my God.
You're welcome. See, I'm here to help you guys find these things. The big guy knows how to find the good stuff.
It reminds me of the way you do your Slurpees.
Yeah, man. Changes life. Changes life. Now, we have a couple questions here. Now, this one I wasn't going to use, but I laughed so hard at my interpretation of the question that I'm going to use it anyways. So Mr. Joel, aka Falcon, he had a question of what is it like being the face of Canadian podcasting? Now, I think what it's like is being super positive, being really attractive, having a wonderful family, and being very articulate. That's what I think it's like. Dev, what do you think it's like?
I think it's, just being the man, you know what I'm saying? Everybody knows your name. You just walk down the street, you get to wave to people, and just, everybody knows who you are. And it's just a good time for everyone.
It's got to be. I think they have like restaurants named after him up there.
Sounds about right.
Sean, so what is it like being you?
Oh, I thought you guys get totally off guard. It's not me, man. I don't like this question at all. It makes me feel very, very uncomfortable.
You're the LeBron James of Canadian podcasting.
I don't know.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Ron James?
Yeah,
is that good?
Absolutely.
Is that good?
LeBron James? Yes, a very good basketball player.
I heard Ron James. I'm like, who the heck is that?
LeBron James.
What I just said, like
LeBron James.
It's Canada, so you are the Wayne Gretzky of podcasting.
Yeah, no, that's not remotely true. I am like
LeBron James, no argument. Wayne Gretzky? No, that's not true, guys.
No, first I have to know who. Maybe Ron James. I'm the Ron James. The who the hell is that of podcasting?
That's the LeBron James twin in the State Farm commercials.
Can I just say, like, and I want to say actually, I'm going to give a shout out to Luke Lore. I believe he's in the chat. Did an absolutely stellar job.
Oh, he crushed it.
I was very nervous coming onto the show just because of the level of storytelling that you guys have. Like, I've never been a good storyteller. My wife is an excellent storyteller, and her whole family. You just sit around. I can just sit around like with my arms crossed and just like listen and giggle the whole time because they are storytellers. But like this whole journey into podcasting, meeting strangers on the internet and hanging out with everybody here is like, it, for me, just came at like the absolute perfect time because it came at the time, like right on the tail end of like focusing on family and focusing on my girlfriend, soon to be my fiance, and now my wife. And with that sort of came like a separation from the guys I would hang out and drink 4 times a week with and do all that craziness. And like everybody kind of like peels off of that at a different time. It's like a freeway and you're like, well, here's my off ramp. And there's not really much looking back. Like once you kind of get off of that. So I just really appreciate just the friendships, honestly. It's just so awesome to be able to like hang out and have like real conversations with people. Like where in my heart of hearts, I know that I'm being like real. I'm not just like putting on for the show. It's like, but then there's this weird thing that happens when you're not podcasting, you're not hanging with like this group, the people we all know. And you go back to the real life, you're like, well, why can't you guys like can we just up it a little bit? Can we just like have a real conversation just a little bit? So it's this weird back and forth, man. I really appreciate this. And then I go back to real life and it's like, man, I have so much better conversations with my friends on the internet. And how the hell is that how does that work? It hasn't quite reconciled in my brain just yet, but I really just appreciate it.
Like I tell my kids, the internet you and the real life you should not be different.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate you saying that. And the second thing is I have found that there are maybe 2 or 3 people that in my life who are friends before PSVG. And those people I keep, but the people I've met through PSVG have been life-changing.
Yeah, man.
And I just really support it. Also, there's a good chance I'm going to nip with a Luke Lore t-shirt or tattoo at some point in time.
I'm already ordering the tattoo.
Yeah. Just wonderful human being. I like every time I talk to him, like, goodness, can I go teach in your school district so we could just be best friends in real life? Because you are just a remarkably wonderful human being. And I love I every time he's on stream, I'm one of his lurkers. I put him on the background and I just listen to him talk and I learn a lot about him. I actually think the reason I tried the Shadow Complex game this week was because he beat it and was saying, oh, this is really fun, but it's not actually a remaster. It's pretty much the same. And I was having a blast. So thank you, Luke, for all the good things you do, man. We really appreciate you being on last week.
Officially an influencer, Luke. Congratulations.
Yeah. Absolutely. And let's stop with the whole real life stuff. This is real life.
Oh, amen.
Like when we always talk about my friends in real life and then I have like my internet friends. Nah, I see it as like it's all real life. And like I spend more time in that Discord chat talking to all of you guys because that's what's fun. I enjoy talking to you guys more than I do with the people that I can meet up with like right here, right now, most of the time. I still see that as real life.
That's criminal, man. The fact we're separated by so many thousands of miles or whatever you guys use, so many inches.
I was about to say I would walk 1,000 miles for you, but that's actually not Michelle Branch, our Patreon producer. So let's move on to our next question. Our next question comes from PSVG Kevin, and he has a rapid fire questions for us. So the way we do rapid fire is because I've already seen it, I go last because I've had time to think about it, of course. So we will go Sean, Dev, me. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. First one, PUBG or Fortnite?
Now Fortnite.
PUBG.
And I'm also PUBG, only because I prefer the non-cartoony game.
Yeah,
well, let's play. Because I haven't played in a while.
Yes.
Can we jump
Sean,
back in?
I always see you on, and I'm always so scared to ask. I'm like, "Hey, do you want to play?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's the boss. That's the boss man, Tony. Do I send him a party invite?"
No.
So next one, here we go.
Please do.
All right, Mario or Link?
Ooh, my son's name is Link, so Mario. I think I get both then.
It's Link because he's got a sword.
And for me, it's neither. I'd rather be lit on fire for eternity. Games of Gold.
Good God.
I don't like Nintendo.
Come on.
This
I
is
know you
common
don't like
sense.
Nintendo, but dang.
If he would have said Luigi, I would have said Luigi all day. But I don't like either one of those characters.
You know what, man? I like doing a good Mario impression for Link, and he loves it. He knows it. Like I put on a Super Mario Odyssey video for him, and he was just like, "Wow!" He was just, "Oh, that kid's gonna be such a nerd."
You know what? Because it's the name of your kid, I'm gonna say Link, but then Kevin won't know that I'm actually rooting for your kid and not for the character who won't talk.
I can dig it, man.
Like in the game that I played for 50 hours and couldn't stand. All right, next one.
It's just unintelligible. It's just, yeah.
Don't get me started. I don't want Carol hating me already, and she's going to be on next week.
She's in the chat yelling at you.
No, she's not.
And she said she's going to jump you.
Goodness.
She broke her caps lock button.
See you Saturday, Carol. All right. Games with Gold or PS Plus?
Games with Gold, 1,000%. Backwards compatibility.
PS Plus because old games are old.
And I'm Games with Gold because I'd rather have 4 instead of 2. Like that seems like better math. So, cake or ice cream?
Oh, cake. I'll eat a whole cake, the entire cake for me, even if it is a lie.
Yeah, I'll do the ice cream because I have been known to just eat tubs of ice cream and not realize it.
Because it feels right. Ice cream cake, sir. Thank you.
Oh,
you're cheating.
I'm not cheating. I'm just I've had time to think about this. Ice cream cake is bomb.
Let's be clear though. I'll eat both, a lot of both.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'll go cake.
But
all right. This next one is tough for me, but all right, here we go. Beer or whiskey?
Oh, beer. Whiskey's not good for me. It goes it's like the mask. Like when the villain wears the mask, it's like that's me on whiskey, but like me on beer is like me, Jim Carrey with the mask.
Okay,
that made any sense.
Respect.
Whiskey.
And I actually gave up drinking a couple years ago because if my kids can't do it and I don't want them to do it, then I shouldn't be doing it. But back in the day, Coach was a big fan of whiskey. So that long time ago.
I gave up drinking for 2.5 years, man. It's fun to come back.
This is this is year 4 for me.
Good for you, man. That's amazing.
It all happened literally like I was at the store. We were going to get stuff for a holiday party. I can't remember which one it was. And my kids saw me I had beer in my shopping cart. And I was like, you know what? Like they didn't say anything like, oh, Coach, have a great party. Enjoy, spend time with your friends. And I was in my 30s at this point in time. So I'm like, shouldn't be a big deal. But it bugged me that entire time. And so that next morning, I was like, I'm giving this up. Like I'm done with it because if I expect them not to do it, then I shouldn't be doing it. And
who else would have that same
the Hulk would have that same sentiment. No, stop what you're about to do.
Steve Rogers, man. Captain America.
All right. Moving on to our other questions. This is from my girl Soraya. Soraya actually follows me on Twitter. Really, really smart lady. Very, very happy to know her. And she asked, if you could go back in time and redo one gaming decision, which would it be? And what do you think the outcome would change to? Dev, you're up first.
Oh, man. Gaming decision?
Yes, sir.
You know how many games I've played? Oh, man. If I could go back and redo one gaming decision.
And I don't think this is
Take
your
your time,
personal
man.
decision. I think this is this could be a big decision.
Oh, you mean like change something like that a game company did or something like that?
Oh, I was thinking of like my own gaming decision. Like I bought like this console instead of that console or something like that.
You know what? Hey, let's make this a twofold one because we can. So let's do our personal one first. That'll give you more time to think about the company one. So I'll go first. My gaming one, personal. There was a game that came out on the 360 right around the time of The Last of Us called Fuse.
I remember that one.
I was recommended this game by an employee at GameStop. After 10 minutes of playing it, I drove back, returned it, and never shopped at that GameStop again. That game was a hot mess and not fun. So that was mine. That's the one. If I could go back, I would never spend the money on Fuse. John, how about you?
Mine, okay. You guys let me know if this is allowed. I'm going to go with this. So I lived with a roommate for maybe half a year. It just didn't work out. But for that half a year, there was a portion along while we were living together where we were like, hey, you own a TV and I own a TV and your TV's on the wall. Why don't I just put my TV just like right below it? And then we can play like NHL together or we can play all these other games like and not have to do split screen. Like that sounds like fun. And so we did that, and then we ended up just spending like a whole summer. I was playing Fallout on the bottom one. He was playing God knows what on the top one. And it changed my life because I realized the freedom that happens when you can share a room but not have to share the TV in the room. And so right now in the other room behind me, my wife and I have side-by-side TVs because we have the exact same setup. So I now have I still have a roommate where we have one room, 2 TVs. We each have our own systems. We don't have to share. And playing co-op, like Borderlands, for example, or really anything where you don't have to split the screen anymore is totally life-changing. If I were to go back, maybe I would just do it sooner, I guess is the only way to answer that. But holy crap, man, that completely changed my life.
Every time I see a picture on Twitter of you guys' setup, I get so excited and I want that in my life so bad. It is so awesome. It is just pure genius.
We were there's like one time in your life that's even a possibility. It's like when you're moving in. And we were like going from house to house to house looking at like, okay, so how big is this? Like our Chelsea wanted 3 TVs. Like we should have one in the middle where there's like TV or movies and then we can still play. Like that was the plan, but money. And then this house was perfect in every other way. So for us, we kind of had to just sacrifice down to the 2 TVs, I guess. So
makes sense.
Well, at some point you'll probably get a new TV.
That's the problem though, man. Like everybody talks about 4K. Like I'm so far from 4K because I need then 2, and I actually would need to upgrade my whole like amplifier and everything, like my receiver. Everything has to change. So that setup's got to last me for some time. So it's a risk.
Dev, how about you?
So gaming decision that I would change. That's such a hard one. Like I'm having a real struggle with that one, but I think it would probably be Final Fantasy VIII. I hated that game. It didn't have materia. It just, I think I played it for like maybe a couple of hours and just never went back to it. That could have been $50 young Dev could have had in his pocket, but no, I had to buy Final Fantasy VIII.
The intro is so good.
The intro was great, but it wasn't Final Fantasy VII, so it just didn't work for me.
Okay.
Like after having
my mind, man, holy crap!
A magic system that was so great with materia, like not having that, I was just like, I can't even bother with this nonsense.
All right, and then the actual question. Once we're back to me again, I'll go through and answer that one. Give you more time to think. He who shall not be named, who took over for the Xbox One. He would never have been hired and would have always been Phil, would be the thing I would change. Because if that happens, I have a feeling Phil goes out and gets more studios that lead to us having more games. We don't have the issue at launch where the Xbox One's viewed as a TV console instead of a video game console. Phil changes everything because all those things that were out there, they were like in addition to the fact that this thing played games. And I think if Phil's in charge, everything changes. So if I could go back and redo anything, that's the one for me. Let's go, Sean.
Let's say Final Fantasy never jumps ship over to Sony, stays with Nintendo, and Sony never takes off and dies in its sleep on its 3rd week.
Man,
I don't mean to be that. Actually, I don't know why I meant that harsh.
I'm okay with it, but I feel really
not
bad.
have been that harsh. I just want like it would have been amazing to see what would have happened if Final Fantasy stayed.
Oh man, Uncharted on Xbox 360.
Possibly.
Y'all just broke my heart, man. I feel attacked. I feel attacked here. I'm in a Sony shirt. I got my PSVG Sony shirt on, and we're talking about killing off Sony.
Actually, and I want to take it back. And in podcast form, this is the closest to like a delete that I could possibly get. What I really wanted to do is save Square. That's really what I wanted. I wanted to like because they went off and did their weird thing. Like they went off on a weird path, and they were like every game Square. Like they were one of the first developers that I was like, or I guess publishers that like I remember thinking it's got SquareSoft on it. I want that game. Like that was one of the first ones, man. So that they kind of got far away from that. That's why
it's Square Enix. I remember Enix did the same thing. Enix had a lot of like weird RPGs and stuff, and then they kind of combined, and it's just some weird stuff now.
Yep.
Dev, how about you, bud?
If I could take back anything, I can't. I kind of want to say the Nintendo Sony CD thing. Like I want to actually see that come to fruition, just to see what the landscape would look like now. Like, would Sony and Nintendo have merged to create this giant that dominated the actual video game landscape? That would have been interesting to see. But what I'm really feeling is this stupid crossplay garbage. If I could go back, I'd make it so that crossplay was a thing that happened in the PS3 360 gen and just carried over into current.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. All right. Our next question comes from Janelle, and she says, what game are you the most hyped for this fall? Devin.
I mean, Forsaken. Destiny Forsaken is what I'm definitely the most hyped for this fall. They just announced Moments of Triumph today, so I've been doing some of that this afternoon. But that is by far the thing that I'm most excited to play, which comes as no surprise because I am the Destiny guy. Duh.
Mm-hmm. Sean?
I think it might be Spider-Man, dude. Like, I'm pretty stoked about that game. I think people have kind of gone high and low on it. I've been the exact same this entire time. I've just been waiting for it to come out. That's day one, no matter what, for me.
And you so, Sony.
I was lucky enough, me and Dev, I don't know if we talked about this on air, but I can't say how much I've gotten to play, but I can just say I've gotten some FaceTime with the Madden 19 beta. Mm-hmm. And you would ask me this last week, the week before that, it would have been, Madden 19 beta. However, I was lucky enough to go to EA and do some Q&A stuff. I can't talk about what I got to do, but I can talk about the game that I got to Q&A. And this game is called NHL 19. I've never been more excited for the way a game is going than I was after my 3 hours that I did it. I got my 2 games, went and traded them in at GameStop because I don't actually want the games. I just do it because it's fun to go do these things. But I've never been more excited. Like, I can't say for what modes. Press Row Podcast this week actually talked about some of the stuff from E3. And I will say I felt very connected to that conversation if anybody wants to connect those dots and find out why I'm so hyped for NHL 19. But NHL 19 is probably the one this fall I'm the most excited for. So,
okay, hold on. Back up. You went to EA, you son of a...
Dude, EA is here in Orlando. They do quality... So how it works, you sign up for these testings, and you can go in and test games for them. And so I've done 5 now since I've been here. And every time I do it, if I do like the 1 hour one, I get 1 game. If I do the 3 hour, I get 2 games. And I just take those games and I trade them in.
Wow.
So,
when do you think we're getting new commentators? I was so stoked for the commentators. Like when I heard that Doc Emmerich was going to be on there, and Ray Farr, I think is great. But come on, man!
Just in case anybody from EA listens to this, I have no idea when anything new is coming out on more information for that. So moving on.
All right. So this year, sweet.
So Bossman Don, he wanted us to talk about what was our first date like. So let's go with Sean this time. Sean, your first date, what was it like?
Like first date ever? Like first date?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's what he said.
Not with our current spouse or whatever.
I do not think that's what he meant.
Oh man, I'm trying to remember. It might have been. I was a late bloomer, guys. Like I was in high school. I'm pretty sure I went to The Patriot with Mel Gibson. You guys remember that movie? Probably like.
Wait, the girl you went out with, her name was Mel Gibson, or you went
Her
to the
name was
movie
Mel Gibson,
Patriot
yeah.
with Mel Gibson? I'm just clarifying.
Yeah,
That would be
I don't know, man. It was really, truly pretty uneventful. I think the one thing I remember the most was that I wanted to, like, you're just so awkward. It's so embarrassing. And my arm behind her the whole time. And it was just like, why did I have my arm behind her sitting in this movie? Like, it fell asleep. It was so uncomfortable. Like, the stuff you do is just like, why? But you just, I don't know. It's probably bad for her too. So yeah.
Well,
It cost a fortune. Like, I was cheap too, so everything it just was super uncomfortable. I didn't want to pay for everything, but I did. So,
Dev, how about you, bud?
Man, I'm lucky if I remember yesterday.
right?
I actually remember my first date. Donnie, come on.
Look at I remember this morning. Come on now.
Is Carol calling me old? I think she's calling me old. I'm not sure.
Probably. I think, yeah. I graduated in 99. What are you saying, Carol? Come on now. Let's see. My first date. It was probably something similar to Sansa. It was probably like taking some girls to the movies. We probably went on the bus because the buses run well in Los Angeles,
man.
and I didn't have no car. I honestly don't remember. I do not recall my first date. I'm just gonna say it was the movies, and we probably had popcorn, and then I don't know how she got home because
I don't remember that either.
I mean, I was on the bus, so I guess she just kept going on the bus. Like, we wouldn't have come back to like my house or her house, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I don't remember. It was years ago.
I remember I had a huge crush on this girl, though, man. That was a big deal. Good times.
So this might become a segment on our show. It's texts from Jonte, which again, are just reminding me to tell the truth, because if I don't, he's going to find a way to get out there.
Jonte, you are the best. You are a gentleman and a scholar.
Just like my first breakup, which actually was my second breakup because I didn't realize we broke up. My first date, I didn't realize was a date. This young lady who was a basketball player who was also my first breakup, she was like, let's go out to a movie. And I said, okay, cool. What movie do you want to see? And so she picked me up, and I paid for both our tickets because I figured she was driving. So I was trying to be polite. Like, gas is not free, and I know that. And we ate popcorn and watched the movie, and then we went for a walk, and then we shot hoops, and then we shared our first kiss. And I was like, man, I just really love hanging out with you. And she was like, well, we're going to go on more dates. You know, we're dating now. I was like, oh, this was a date? She's like, yes. I'm like, huh, I probably should have dressed up more. And she's like, no, you're okay, big fella. And it was one of those things, like, I remember the conversation because it was so uncomfortable when you look back at it the next day. Like, I remember the next day going, oh, I shouldn't have said that. That was very stupid. Like, you really, man, come on. You got to be cooler than this. She's a senior. You're a freshman. You really got to work on this skill. No, not me. Not me.
Dude, you're a freshman pulling a senior. You don't have to work on much.
But remember, it's because she's, 6'5" and I'm 6'7". So she wanted to date somebody who was her height. So not a lot of people on campus, she had that option.
But you're also awesome. So
thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, that was my first date. Good time. But from Tony.
Whoop, got a curveball for you.
Oh snap!
The curveball.
Curveball. And this is courtesy of our good buddy Luke.
Okay.
So he wants to know, do you ever get movie, TV, or game paralysis when you have so many options that you don't know what to do? And then to piggyback on that, what are your comfort shows or games? And we're going to start with Sean.
Yeah, man, all the time. Like, pretty much three quarters of the year, I'm in paralysis. It's awful. My game that I always tend to go back to is Rocket League for whatever reason. It used to be NHL. Like, used to be that I would play that for hours and hours and hours. But lately it's just been like, I don't know what I want to play. I've got maybe an hour and a half until I got to go to bed. Okay, by the time I'm still making this decision, I got like 13 minutes still. Okay, that's pretty much Rocket League time for me. It takes me a little while to like get into a game. Like, I'm a pretty stupid person, so I really take a long time to like understand what the hell this game's either trying to say or how I'm supposed to play it. So I know Rocket League, and I just kind of go back to it. And the thing is, I'm not even very good at that, but I platinum it on the PlayStation. I've got 1400 gamer score on the freaking Xbox. I got on PC, like everywhere. It is Rocket League is my game. It's one of the best games of the generation, in my opinion.
Awesome. What about you, Coach?
So I'm gonna say this because my kids know, and I always like I never want to lie and knowingly know that I affect them. Like sometimes you have to lie just to protect people, but I suffer from ADHD as well as anxiety, and the anxiety can be bad sometimes. And when I'm moving and playing sports, I'm fine. When I'm sitting down, that's when it can get bad. And so for me, like I don't actually watch a lot of TV because it's where I get the most anxious. Like I it's really tough when there's so many things going on. When my wife finds a show that I like, those are the ones that I can sit and kind of deal with. Movies, I have to really want to see it for me to be able to go to the movie and enjoy it. But with games, I've never played a game except for Fuse that I don't like. I can't find something like a silver lining in it. You know what I mean? Like I'm moving, I'm playing. That's why I actually was one of those people who loved Pokemon Go, because I got to go outside and walk and move and run and bike and swim and do all these things, and it tracked in this game. Like I just thought, this is incredible. Like I'm leveling up in this game just by doing things I normally do. And so for me, like games, it doesn't happen so much, but it does happen a lot with movies. And my feel good ones, Living Single, the better version of Friends, has one of my favorite shows. I own every season. I have it digitally and the box set. So if you've never seen Living Single, please give it a shot. My man Overton will have you in stitches. It has some amazing female leads in there. Queen Latifah does just a phenomenal job playing Khadijah. Just does a really good job. That's my go-to for TV. And for games, it's normally sports games. I normally can dive into a sports game of any sort on any day. My wife and I had a really, really tough situation last week that we're actually going to talk about on OT in the future. But I played Madden and NHL and FIFA for like 2 days straight, and it helped me deal with some of those emotions. So those would be my feel-good ones.
Nice. Yeah, I get game paralysis like all the time. I have way too many games, and it's why I have a ridiculous backlog, and makes it really, really easy just to go and play Destiny. Destiny is definitely my comfort game of choice right now. It's just easy to jump in and shoot a few guys in the face and play for a little bit and then jump out and be done with it. So that's definitely like my comfort fallback on game. As far as TV, I also don't watch a lot of TV. I typically will binge watch like a Netflix series or something like that. But if it's just something to just have on in the background just because you need something to watch, it usually ends up being something like The Simpsons. That's just something me and my wife both enjoy and will always be able to just go to and have on in the background as background noise, or just as like we're about to wind down and go to sleep, we'll throw on some Simpsons. And that's typically like perfect for us.
Nice. All right. So now the curveball's been knocked out. Thank you, Luke. Again, awesome dude like that, doing the big things. This one's from Tony, and it's the best way to relax. So I'll go first, see if you guys have a little time. Normally, I would say, video games are very therapeutic to me. However, today I went to Sarasota, Florida with my wife. We drove 2 hours there. We spent literally 3.5 hours in the ocean. Crystal clear water, beautiful white sandy beaches. Both of us got sunburnt. I'm pretty pink today, if you can't tell. But literally the 3 hours I spent in the water, just floating, just being, one of the most relaxing de-stressors I've had in a long time. And I'm super grateful because I don't like driving. Like, I'm not a big fan of like getting in the car and just going. I'd rather, walk someplace or do something, close by. And so when she wanted to go, I was like, you know what? I love you. Yeah, let's do this. Best decision ever. And like as we drove home from the beach, I was like, oh my goodness, it was such a great idea. That was so much fun. Thank you so much. And she's like, you just need to listen to me. I've got these great ideas. I'm like, you're right. So best way to relax normally would have been video games, but because today was so relaxing, a little beachcation would be mine. So Dev.
So for me, this is going to sound really weird, but the most relaxing thing for me to do is actually play basketball. It's something about being on the court that is like my happy space. Everything falls away when I'm playing basketball. I don't hear the crowd. I'm not thinking about my worries or anything else. It's just me, whoever's in front of me, my teammates, and the goal. Like that is probably where I am at my most happy and my most relaxed ever, is when I'm actually playing basketball.
Nice.
So even though I'm doing a whole lot of activity and a whole lot of things going on, I am probably more relaxed there than anywhere else.
All right. Sean?
I have a weird one. So I took a flight to Vancouver and back this week And my most relaxing moments, I think, are what like at takeoff. Like when it just like you get thrust back into your seat and you're just kind of like, I know like some people hate flying, but for me, like I'm probably sitting at about 65 to 75% like fall asleep time at takeoff. Like it just puts me back in and like I don't get a whole lot of sleep anymore. So like as soon as it's just like it just rocks you in there, man. And I'm just out and I'm just like, I think flying is amazing. I'm looking outside like, holy crap, how does that even work? And then I just get back in, I close my eyes, I'm listening to a podcast maybe, and then I wake up and realize that I fell asleep 5 minutes into the podcast. Like that's probably one of my most weird, relaxing times. But on a more regular basis, I actually listen to a meditation podcast most nights when I fall asleep to that. And they're maybe 10, 15 minutes long. And as soon as I fire it up, I'm out before it's finished. And that's kind of like I don't know, man. I couldn't do it on my own. I don't know exactly what meditation really is, to be honest with you, but I listened to this thing and it's just like, just think about your feet, like touching the sand, or I don't even know. And I'm out, man. And it takes me to another place. And it's pretty incredible, actually.
Respect.
That's awesome. The flying thing, I don't know how you do that, man.
Yeah, I don't like planes at all.
If you can't relax on a plane, the other way to deal with it I found is to just make like laser noises or pretend like you're dogfighting as you're taking off, like or you're being a sci-fi. Like,
I feel like that would terrify me more because I'm worried about getting shot down.
Try it. You're getting the other guy. You'll be fine.
My problem with planes isn't so much the plane. It's the fact that there's another human being who I have not met, who I don't know how their day has gone, who is in charge of flying the plane. Like, I don't get in cars with people I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things. I'm like, that's why I couldn't. It was like, oh, you should get an Uber and we'll do this. I'm like, I don't know who that person is. I don't know what they've been through today.
I'm going to talk to you about that sometime, man.
Same fear with planes. I'm like, I don't know how you're doing.
Wow.
I don't feel comfortable trusting my life to you when we've never met. Just saying.
That makes a lot of good sense.
Right? All right. Next one, we have 2 from former students. We are down to our last 5 questions from former students. We have 2 for this week and 3 for next week. So here we go. From Shy, what is your favorite movie scene of all time? Sean.
I have to go with the first thing that comes in my head. Okay. Can I have a fake one and then a real one?
Sure. Go right ahead.
My fake one, my favorite movie ever is Armageddon. So I think about when when Ben Affleck pulls a short straw and he's supposed to go launch the nuke and everything, and then Bruce Willis like, not on my watch, and he goes and blows himself to smithereens. That whole bit, it just gets me every single time. But for real, I think one of the best scenes ever made is similar because it's about a space movie. It's in Interstellar when Matthew McConaughey decides that he's gonna go. And he leaves his daughter, and that whole scene leads into him driving away, but also blends into the spaceship launching. Like they don't get into him like becoming an astronaut or anything like that. I just think that from going from he's in his house with his daughter driving away, and now he's in space, and the music that happens in that scene is just so crazy. Luke Lore is with me with the opening of The Dark Knight. Like it's just Christopher Nolan. And the composer that's totally blanking from my brain, somebody will help me in a second, are just masters, dude. So that's one of my favorite scenes in a movie that comes to mind.
Dev?
Hans Zimmer, I think.
So when you said Armageddon, so my fake one is definitely going to be, I forgot the actor's name, but when he's sitting on the rocket and he said, I just want to feel the power between my legs, brother.
Yeah, man. I love that movie, Steve Buscemi.
That had me dying.
No,
oh my
nukes,
goodness.
No nukes.
Oh, and Interstellar was a great movie. That's that movie was great. Favorite scene in a movie. I don't watch a whole lot of movies, but what came to my mind first was, do you ever dance with the devil in a pair of moonlight? That's what came to mind. That's a great scene, and that's what I'm going to go with because I can't think of anything else right now.
Okay. So I have 2, and I've been battling this whole time trying to figure out which one I want to say. So I'm just going to say both. The first one is recent. If anybody's ever seen Black Panther, the last scene between Killmonger and Black Panther when Killmonger's looking out over everything. That is one of the most gut-wrenchingly tough, amazing movie moments ever because that line had so much power. I'll remember that scene with my kids. I remember talking to my students about it. I remember the whole drive home. I remember the next day. I remember watching one of my smallest, quietest basketball girls in the middle of practice go Wakanda forever. And then that's after celebrating a made shot. And I just remember going, this movie sticks. And we need movies like that to stick. The other one is it's an older movie called Sunset Park, and not a lot of people have seen it.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen that one.
Okay, it's a basketball movie, and there's a character in there called Spaceman. And the moment Spaceman is used properly in the basketball game will forever be like my moment as a coach when I realize like every kid can play. Everybody can play. You've just got to find out what they do well. And that's the thing that I always think of is that this guy, they're like, no, don't put him in, coach. He's horrible. But he was really good at rebounding and boxing out. And he had zero fear.
Yep. Oh, man, that movie was good. That's a throwback, man.
So that'll be the one. Those are the two. All right. Our last question comes from Jonathan, who wants to know what would be your best day ever? So if you could plan a full 24 hours for yourself, how would that go? Dev?
If I could plan a full 24, well, first of all, I would sleep in because what is that? I don't get to sleep past freaking the crack of dawn ever in life.
So John Wall tweeted out today, the moment your kids are old enough to pour themselves a bowl of cereal and watch cartoons is the best part of parenting because you can finally sleep in. I was dying.
Did you see the thread from that? Oh, Sean was in it.
Yeah, man, I know. Oh, man, I'm so far from that. Oh, God.
Yeah, go back and look at that tweet and look at the thread and watch all the angry dads.
Oh, Luke just killed it, though.
Oh, Luke, man, you in your rain and drinking coffee
and he's got his coffee off.
Stop this nonsense.
Yeah, my perfect day is a lot like that, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But, yeah, it would start with, sleeping until like 10 o'clock for one. Actually getting some good sleep. Wake up, have some really good coffee, have my wife have made breakfast for me, and then she takes the kids somewhere so I don't have to deal with them for a while. Then I get to come in here, sit down, play video games to my heart's content, not have to worry about anything else, maybe get up, get some lunch if I feel like it, come back, play more video games, and then the wife gets home around 7:30, 8 o'clock. We put the kids to bed, and then we go to bed, and that's the end of my night. That would be the perfect 24 for me.
All right, see you. Sean, how about you?
Dude, I'm similar. Okay, so I hate that we have to sleep. I hate that so much of my time is wasted with my eyes closed and I'm not accomplishing anything. But I do appreciate the feeling when you wake up and you're well rested. So I have to find some sort of magic middle of that. My perfect day involves pretty much me and only me, nobody but me, where at the end of the day, Lincoln comes running over to me and says, Daddy, I love you so much. And I don't care that you wanted to spend the whole day. I totally understand. And that whole thing kind of washes away. Mm-hmm. I want to spend some time reading, but like fast. I'm not a very fast reader. I want to actually, like, people say like they get through like a book a week and it's like, that's just never happening for me. I want a massage and just kind of like flesh out all these knots and everything I got going. My body's breaking. And then I want to go for a run. Like, I legit love jogging, dude. And I really love exercise. And I hate that, like, my body is breaking, like, like in front of me, I guess, or inside of me. I want to go for a run and not have my ankles swell up and my knees swell up. I want to go for, like, a really, like, legit, just like, I feel awesome about this run. The house is clean for me. The yard work is done for me. And then I get home, have like the best shower, like the shower, everything is clean. I've got like a brand new shower curtain and like, you don't have the mold on or anything like that. It's not mold, but like the calcium buildup or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's just brand new. Everything's pristine, brand new bar of soap. It's just so nice. Nice little shave. And then, somehow I'm dried perfectly because I hate drying out of the shower. There's always something going on. And then I actually sit down to play some games and I know exactly what I want to play. That's something that some magic will have to happen for that to take place. And then, Lincoln comes home, says, I love you. I missed you today, and I can't wait to go back to normal tomorrow. I'm glad you had a really good day, Daddy. And that's it. That's my perfect day.
All right.
Bar soap, Luke says.
Right. Bar soap. People still use bar soap.
Costco, man, you get like 300 of them.
No, I've been on the liquid soap ever since Old Spice started making it. This is just wonderful.
Yeah,
makes my life easy.
A cool while now too.
Well, I like it because you can use it as shampoo too. My wife thinks that's just the dumbest thing ever, but I'm like, it works for me.
It says hair and body wash.
Done.
Oh, guys.
Next.
Oh, no.
Next. Sean, here's the thing. Sean, your hair looks way better than mine. So I think that might be why.
I think this is what happens when you don't shower. And that's why I wanted to have a perfect day. You don't shower in a little bit. And just what's happening.
Right, so I'm a naturally early riser. About 5 o'clock, 6, I'm up and ready to go. And so naturally, like that's just when I wake up. When I get up, I grab a book, I read, I have a cup of coffee. That's been every day since I was like 14. Like it's just kind of a natural thing for me to do. The thing I would add to it was I would be going to a sporting event of some sort. I could care less if it's high school, college, NBA, anything. I just like going. And I like those days when you have that block planned because it helps everything else fit together for me. So like in season, my life makes so much more sense on game day. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, okay, I go to work for this time, then I go eat, then I do this, and then the game's at 7. You know what I mean? And so having something on that day to look forward to, but the end of it would be the part where the things would change. I love walking when it's misting. There's something about a light mist. Growing up in Chicago and Portland, like you get kind of used to mist and how it feels. And I would have that tied in with not having to worry about when you went to bed. And that would be my perfect day.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's funny that the whole not wanting to sleep thing, if I could get rid of sleeping, I would absolutely do that too.
Yeah.
It's such a waste of time.
Well, It's such a tease too that like the solution might be like caffeine, but it will ruin your heart and put you in a horrible mood. And you'll crash later anyway. Like there's no real solution. Come on, man. It's 2018.
All right. So at the end of the show, we like to do our game of the year. So you call it your game of the year. Yeah. So Sean, as of right now, your game of the year for 2018 is what?
Dude, I don't know, man. I remember listening to this last week. I'm like, oh, I guess like Far Cry or State of Decay. Like, dude, it's the same as you guys. Like, it's one of those two. I want to get back into Monster Hunter, though. I did play that. And I started to get it, and I kind of moved on to something else. But I've mostly been playing a lot of old games, to be honest. I'm playing Blossom Tales right now on the Switch. Played through a little bit of Faye. Didn't click with me. But, yeah, I just not too stoked. I don't feel like Far Cry should be a game of the year. I don't think and that's not to really take anything away from. I think it's a great game. It's probably the most fun I've had of the year, but like that's not. I don't know, man. Just there's something about a game of the year game that it always seems elevated above the rest in a way that I always have a hard time describing. And Far Cry just doesn't have that je ne sais quoi. I guess
we don't speak Spanish here.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's qua or pa or duh or poutine.
Okay, so what was your final decision?
I guess Far Cry 5.
Okay, there you go. That game of the year, my dude.
Oh man, you'd have to actually play games for that to have a game of the year, right?
Yeah.
Far Cry 5 it is for me still. Like that hasn't changed. Until I play something else that gives me as much excitement as that game has, and it's gonna remain Far Cry 5. Maybe when I jump back into God of War and actually finish it, that may be it. Because I did have a lot of fun with what I played with that, but it still didn't top Far Cry 4 or 5 for me. But then we also have a whole slew of stuff about to come out in like 2 months, so who knows?
Octopath Traveler, man, I'm looking forward to that. So we've only got a couple hours into the Switch demo right now, but that could be it.
You're speaking foreign stuff to us.
What if I throw Project Octo? It's that 16-bit RPG on the Switch. If you guys,
what's a Switch?
Audience. We have no idea what you're talking about.
So that is all. Thank you, everybody, for listening to PSVG OT. Octopath Traveler. That's right. That's the name of the show. Thank you, Caroline.
Oh, man. So mine right now, last week it was State of Decay, and the week before that was State of Decay, and the week before that, this week, it's NHL 19.
Oh God, I hate you.
That's not allowed.
Oh, it's allowed.
That is cheating, sir.
NHL 19 will be my game of the year because yeah, it is yeah. Okay. So
All
with
right,
that,
new commentators confirmed. Sweet.
I just want them to bring back NHL 94. If I can play that with the actual rosters, then I let's do that.
So yeah, NHL 19. So just all I can say. So that is PSVG OT. As we wrap up, Sean, where can everybody find you? Anything you want to talk about before we close up?
They can find me in Canada. I'm next to an oil refinery. The town that I'm in is like there's the whole thing there. But if you're looking on the internet, you can find me on Twitter at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. And I do too many shows, so I'm just going to tell you guys about one that I want to highlight. The Xbox Drive is like one of the funnest things that I do. I love all my shows that I get to be a part of, but like the Xbox Drive is ridiculous. It's a half an hour to 45 minutes. It's my commute to work. So hopefully it lines up with everybody else's commute to work. And like Dave barely plays games. Like it's hilarious. He doesn't give a crap about video games yet. Somehow he's on this Xbox show. And it's just like, you never know what's going to happen, man. I order coffee at McDonald's every show and it's a good time. You can follow it at the Xbox Drive. And I absolutely adore doing that show, man. It's good times.
I tweeted a picture from it that you guys brought up, so made me laugh.
Yes, man. That's
Xbox
awesome.
Drive, yeah, Xbox Drive, guys. Listen, go give it a listen. Sean, if you ever take the McDonald's part out, I'm just saying we're gonna have an issue.
Okay, I need that feedback, man. I do.
That is my favorite part of the show. It's just because like I love the fact that the show starts at the McDonald's drive-thru and it just cracks me up every time. Like if we had like I want to do video one day somehow, but you should see like the pre-show. It's just me sitting in the parking lot, like waiting for Dave to be ready. And then like, he's good. And then I just like go up into the drive-thru. Have you ever used Mixer Create?
Nope. I don't even know what that is.
Mixer Create is an app that's tied in with Mixer. I actually do it a lot of times when I see something really cool. Like today at the beach, I jumped on it and a couple of friends jumped in and watched. So I could show them the beach and everything. But it's like an in real life app. That attaches to Mixer, so it's just you log in and it streams and shows everything. I'm not sure if it downloads to the videos on demand though, so that would be something to look into. But maybe a way to look at it.
Good times, man. I've got a little mount for my phone, so like when I'm like got my GPS going, like it's there, it would be perfect. It'd be staring straight at me and everything. Oh, it's a good time, man.
All right, Dev, how about you, man?
You can find me at DevATias on Twitter. Come holler at me, talk, start a conversation. Tell me why you think Apple is great so I can tell you you're wrong. Things like that. Yeah. But other than that, you can find me here every Saturday on the OT.
All right. And again, I'm Coach Hulk, Coach Mo, aka all those things. You can find me on Twitter at the Coach Hulk. You can find me on Xbox at the exact same thing, thanks to Nate. I'm actually working a review game that I was given by Bossman Don. I put 2 hours into it. I feel like from looking at the achievement list, I've only got like an hour left. Like I'm feeling pretty confident I'll knock these last 3 out and be done with it. And then that'll be up on the psvg.blog. So go ahead and check it out. And thank you to our Patreon producers, Vanilla Coke, Zero. Really appreciate you. And Michelle Branch. All right. With that, thank you guys for hanging out and listening. And see you later, family. That's game over.
Shut up and sit down.